Hello, everyone. My name is Kimberly Knighton, and I am going to talk with you about Just Like Home Child Care Center for Piedmont Hospital in Atlanta, Georgia. I will explain a little bit about myself. I am a longtime and still current employee that has worked in multiple different departments from sterile supply, labor and delivery, and now as a business analyst in Piedmont Corporate. I am well aware of how the operations work here, as well as been a part of a lot of changes that has happened and how they treat their employees. So, when I first started 10 years ago, I got pregnant with my first son, and I did not have a driver's license, and I still don't. I have 4 kids now. And so, when I first was choosing my child care provider, me and my husband were very limited in the choices we could choose. And this was due to the location, the pricing that we wanted, and the hours that we would need for someone to watch my children. At the time, I was working day shift from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m., so it was a long time during the day, and it was hard to find a child care center that was going to be flexible with those hours. And so, our best benefit was to have an at home babysitter. We ended up having kids fairly quickly. We had 3 kids under the age of 4, and so we were paying an at home babysitter over $800 every 2 weeks. And that was absolutely fine for us because we were being provided the care that we needed for them, except I was not very excited about the lack of structured setting that a child care center could provide. And this is in relation to social interaction with other children, this is in relation to having a structured routine every day, and also being provided modern technology and different methods of teaching for today's pre-K and kindergarten curriculum preparation, which is again absolutely pertinent, being that today there are a lot more technology based teaching methods for children. And so I really was not necessarily unhappy, but I was definitely looking for something else in my own circumstances, and that is what has made me be inspired to create this service for the employees of Piedmont Hospital. It is about balancing life and work circumstances, especially when you have children and you still want them to be provided that wonderful and safe care. So Just Like Home Center is exactly as it sounds. It is a safe, quality child care center that is adjacent to the hospital and is just for the employees. It is open full-time and part-time, as well as drop-in services for any employee, whether they're PRN, part-time, or full-time. We will also have field trips provided. There's outdoor playgrounds. There is modern technology in every method of teaching, and that is to include tablets, computers, and other electronic teaching methods that you may or may not have heard of. And this is supposed to facilitate the optimal ways that we can develop our children in those early stages, which is very important to us. So JLH Center is something that will have an open door policy. Employees will be able to come at any time during their shift and meet with their baby, see their baby, and it is a payroll deducted service. So I am very, very passionate about this service for Piedmont Hospital. I think it'll bring an amazing benefit for the employees, and I think it'll actually increase retention as well as add revenue for the hospital. So the target employees for this particular center is really single and dual family homes that work full time and maybe have limited family members that would be able to watch children on a daily basis. And I'm seeing that more often when I did my primary research for this particular service, that a lot of the customers, they would have younger parents that would be the grandparents of their children, but because they're still working full time or they're traveling or doing other things, they still needed a child-based center. So another potential problem that customers that I have discovered when doing the primary research for this service is that the commute time in Atlanta, Georgia is extremely heavy. The traffic is one of the heaviest in the nation. So I know in particular with some of the employees that I've known before, they travel anywhere from a good 20 minutes to 45 minutes outside of Atlanta to get to Piedmont Hospital. So I am absolutely certain that having a child-based center right next to the hospital would be a big factor in bringing your child to our center and again bringing that revenue that we're projecting. So I definitely think it is an absolute need that should be done for the hospital, and I think that the employees would absolutely love it. And the primary research does show that most of the employees, whether they had children or not, still think that it is an absolute service that would be beneficial to everyone, including the hospital, the community, and the employees themselves. So, the mission for JLH Center is to provide a safe, quality, nurturing environment for the employees and their children and balancing the life and work circumstances. JLH's passion is to balance those two circumstances in today's modern world. It is very hard to commute from your home to a daycare center to drop your child off and then go to work. So having a child-based center right next to the employee hospital would be absolutely great. It would save time, it would save gas money, and it would again support the mission of JLH to balancing those two, as well as developing the children socially and intellectually in a structured setting. The hours again, they are 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. and that is to cater to the medical professionals at the hospital. A lot of the first shifts start at 6:45 in the morning, so being open prior to that shift would be best for the employees, as well as staying open past the change of shifts in the evening, so that way employees will have enough time in order to get to their children. So, in this industry, there's $58 billion to be made in the childcare industry alone. So, the Piedmont Hospital Atlanta location has over 3,000 employees, and that is the initial launch for this service is in the main Atlanta hospital. However, there are 4 other sister locations in neighboring cities for Piedmont Hospital, and if successful, we are absolutely researching to look into expanding to those other locations, so that way all the employees system-wide will be able to experience the benefit of having a daycare center at their job. Right now, I think system-wide it is over 5,000 employees, so that's definitely a part of the projection numbers that we have. Our competition in the area is again, other hospitals that have daycare centers for the employees. However, I did not include that in the actual research because, again, those targets are for the employees of those hospitals. So I did look at some other competitors that are very close to the hospital, and one is Peachtree Christian Center, and they are very highly rated. However, their hours of operation are not coinciding with the hospital as well as their location. It's a very busy street, and so the traffic times in the morning can be quite heavy. And I think that they do not have part-time enrollment, so if your child were to not need full-time hours, you would still be paying full-time pay, which can kind of be discouraging. There is another daycare center called Bright Start, and that is a also very well rated center in Atlanta, very close to the hospital. However, they're again more costly, and they are located in an extremely busy train station, which may deter parents from letting their children go there just due to the busy commute and the heavy in and outs of the traffic. The competitive weighted assessment table is shown here, and what JLH plans to do is beat the competitors in 3 main areas, and that's location, pricing, and education. Those 3 are the weighted factors that I think are the most pertinent for our customers and the gurus when we did our research, and I think for the business service in general. And the competitive weighted assessment that's shown here does show that we plan to beat all of those factors out. And so I definitely think it'll be a very successful service for the community, especially in Atlanta, as prestigious as Piedmont Hospital is. So the team and for our operations consist of myself as the general manager. I hold a Master's of Healthcare Admin, and I'm about to graduate with my MBA, so those credentials will make me feel confident that I can balance financial and business administrative duties as well as support the CEO. Our CEO is Nina Bulkey. She has over 10 years experience. She'll be the overall financial manager and the operations manager for the entire facility, and the reason I chose her to be that and me to be the assisting general manager is because she has more focused experience in social services, not-for-profit services that is in relation and focused on the childcare industry. So I'm very confident that her experience and skills will bring a wealth of knowledge, and I think that it will help develop my skills as well in relation to the childcare industry and be beneficial for the hospital. The assistant manager will be Angela Andrews. She is now holding her associates in early childhood development, and she is currently getting her bachelor's in early childhood development. She is also a longtime employee and very, very passionate about giving children the nurturing and structured environment that we are trying to promote here at JLH. We also have an the director of education is yet to be chosen. I feel like that is such a critical job that it is going to need a panel of interviews when the actual service is implemented and launched. So I think that director of education will be chosen at a later date. We do have an advisory board with 3 members, including myself, as well as the assistant manager and the CEO. That is Tevin J. Roberts. He is the Head Start Executive Director. He helps implement and advocate for child care centers here in the state of Georgia. And we also have Tanya Thomas, who is the Pre-K Director for DeKalb County in Atlanta. And I reached out to her because that's a specific county I live in, but I'm very confident that her experience and her passion for child care centers will be an absolute asset for our services and advisory board in giving us advice on how to launch this the right way for our employees. So I'm going to get into the financials, which is absolutely the most important part, I feel. We are asking for $2 million from a credible investor that is going to procure and renovate the Sheffield building adjacent to Piedmont Hospital. And it will also be the establishment of the facility, meaning we're going to make sure that it is furnished and have all the technology needs based for the launch of the service. The $2 million will be in exchange for 35% ownership into the company, and there's an 83% return on assets in which we plan on returning that investment to the investors within year 3. Our break-even point will be done in the first quarter of year 2. And right now we have projections of cash flows to be over $3 million in year 5, by year 5, as well as having a net preset value of over $7 million. So the numbers definitely look successful for Piedmont Hospital. I absolutely think it'll be a great revenue stream, and I think that it will be great for the employees of the hospital. It's something I'm excited and passionate about. It is something that I really think that the hospital would implement very well, and I think that it will increase retention and again bring that additional revenue and have that service that is definitely needed for a prestigious hospital such as this. And it will give them a competitive advantage for other hospitals in the location for people to come work at if they know that they have a daycare center that they can do that. So I am going to again reiterate the two